Well, South African digital communications agency Retroviral has joined the Bidvest Group's media arm. I'm now joined by Mike Sharman, who's the founder of Retroviral, for more on this deal. Good to have you with us today, Mike. And should I be saying congratulations?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I want us to get obviously some clarity on this particular deal. Some of the headlines have reported that Bidvest has acquired 100% of your business and you'll be falling under the Bidvest media arm. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so that's not correct. I still have an interest in the business and I'll still be heading up the company as always. So it's great news and exciting news to spread with the market today. But yeah, it's business as usual at Retroviral as we continue to grow and continue to spread our unique brand of digital communications throughout South Africa, hopefully across Africa a lot more, and then to the rest of the world.
I had a look at your website and obviously you've done some amazing stuff, very funky, very retro, as the name alludes to. Why the partnership with Bidvest, which seems as though it's a large conglomerate, very structured and corporate?
I think the beautiful thing about the Bidvest Group and Bidvest Media in particular is that it's very entrepreneur-centric. So the guys look at situations, they look at potential acquisitions, they look at different companies, and they say, how can we work together with those various jockeys that are leading the charge within different organizations, and how can we help them and give them a bit of rocket fuel to make things go bigger and further, but without necessarily losing that culture and that opportunity to grow from the base that we've started over the last 5 years, in our example.
For some of your clients and maybe even your staff, there's no significant changes taking place with regard to retrenchments. You still at the helm?
No significant changes at all, no movement of building or operation. It's business as usual for clients, for staff, for partners, all those kinds of things. So it's perfect.
You mentioned venturing into the rest of the continent. How are you hoping to piggyback, or rather use Bidvest as a springboard to unpack that potential?
I think the great thing with Bidvest is that there's no mandate for people to work within the group under a forced means, and I think the great thing is that there's more of an opening doors, having a bit of a network, and then for the work that we've started doing across Africa into markets such as Kenya and Nigeria, we've already started venturing down those roads. So this is just a means of, now we're part of a greater group, a group with large credibility, and a group that wants us to succeed based on our entrepreneur roots.
Having said that though, what's the landscape like on the rest of the continent? Because you do a lot quite online as well as mobile. Are we finding that our peers on the continent are managing to pick up with this pace?
I think the fantastic thing across the continent is that so many of the individual markets have so many unique attributes. I mean, if you look at mobile payments, for example, in Kenya and the rise of M-Pesa specifically to that market, I think that there's beautiful opportunities for payments that South Africa could learn from and hasn't necessarily tapped into from an unbanked and underbanked point of view. If you look at Nigeria and obviously the growth there from a telco point of view and data access from a digital point of view, there's so much opportunity, and I think that's the beautiful thing about the work that we're involved in. Yes, there are no borders because it's a digital world and it crosses into other markets, but at the same time we have so much to learn from the different nuances and the different executions of digital throughout the continent.
Walk us through that, because I take it it's also allowing us, using technology as an enabler to leapfrog certain areas of development, and I take it even the media landscape and advertising which you deal with is also changing quite significantly.
I think the beautiful thing about digital is that it reduces the reliance on bricks and mortar venues, so you have the ability to create a business and roll with that in the digital space with nothing more than a smartphone or a laptop. And I think that's the beautiful thing, is that there's a lot more growth opportunities for new businesses, for new opportunities for people to take advantage of their fans and followers on Facebook and Twitter, for example. So I think that the inherent nature of Africans is to tell great stories, which we do at Retroviral. We tell great brand stories, and then for us to take those brand stories and convert those into sales. I think that's our major aim, is to tell great stories, connect emotionally with the target market, and from there convert into sales.
Tell us the story about the amount paid for this acquisition.
Unfortunately, we're not disclosing that one this time around.
Not?
It's under a threshold. We don't have to communicate it. But yeah, hopefully it's the first of many. So maybe there'll be some numbers in the future.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, we look forward to hearing from you and continue telling those African stories, and looking forward to getting more details on Retroviral going forward. Well, that's where we leave it with Mike Sharman. He's the founder of Retroviral, which recently concluded a deal with Bidvest.